Hi, welcome to Hansen Speed Shop. Thanks for stopping by today for one of our custom Hot Wheels videos. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you for coming on back. I really appreciate it. If you're a new viewer and you like what you see here today, or you feel like checking out all the other cool stuff on the channel, because there's plenty of it and plenty more to come, you might want to hit that subscribe button. But what we're looking at here today, was actually the first edition of this casting. I believe it came out like 97, 98. I just cracked this. This was a fresh mint car in the package. And I actually remember these coming out in the store because this was kind of around the time when I really started going from more of just playing with Hot Wheels as a kid to kind of actually collecting Hot Wheels. It was kind of around the time period when I remember this car coming out. And I remember when this car came out, which is a 63 Thunderbird. I don't know if I even mentioned that yet. I really wasn't too much of a fan of it, but now I have more of appreciation for it, and I think it's a really neat car. It's got that cool kind of jet fighter look to it. And the idea for this car is, I was debating on two different things. It kind of has that Elvira car look to it, or I don't remember what she calls it, like her Creep Mobile or whatever. It's black. Kind of has that look to it. But then I also remember a car that George Barris did, and it looked almost exactly like this, and it had kind of a red, white, and blue theme to it. And then I was trying to find a picture of that car, and somebody said he might have built that for Dean Martin. I'm not positive if that's true or not, but I remember seeing it in the background on an episode of the Munsters also. So I'm thinking I might go with that. It's going to be white, and then on this insert we'll kind of have some blue faded in here, and then the interior was red, and then the real car had some cool Raider wheel mags on it. But either way, this is going to be a super cool kind of 60s show car style build, and it should be pretty cool. So we got this thing already taken apart. It's got these old 5-dot wheels on it, which were so popular back in the 90s, and I still hate them. Windshield, interior, and body. So we'll get this thing stripped apart, and then we'll go from there. So we're back to the 63 T-Bird, which is going to be kind of a tribute to a Barris Customs T-Bird that was done back in the early 60s. We laid down a real beautiful gloss enamel white on the body. Basically all we have to do on the body yet is I'm going to do kind of attempt to do a blue fade kind of in this part on the front fender and the door. And then we got to do some detailing on the body also, like taillights and door handles and wipers and kind of all the chrome on the body. The chassis, the Rio car had some white walls with Raider mag wheels on it. So I found these 5-spoke chrome Hot Wheels wheels with white walls on it, and that's going to kind of give this car that look. The interior we're going to be doing in red, like I think I mentioned earlier. And then otherwise, basically I just have to detail the chassis. So we're pretty much to the final stage of this build. It's just a lot of detailing that has to get done yet. But this thing's coming along really cool. It's turning out really awesome. And I think it should pay pretty good respect to the real car. So I think the next time that we'll take a look at this car will be at the final unveil. So we'll see you there. Alright gang, it's time for the final unveil on our 63 Barris style T-Bird. And this thing came out looking funky. It looks really cool. I think it pays pretty good homage to the real car. I'm pretty happy with it. I had a couple issues putting the thing back together. I don't know what the reason is, but the windshield just did not want to go back in like the factory spot that it's supposed to be. As you can see, the side windows kind of tweaked up a little bit. It actually was way worse. Like the whole thing was like, it almost looked like it had gotten warped or something. One side was sagging way lower than the other side, so I fought with it and adjusted it, and I got it to where at least the top of the windshield is now level. Them side windows are still kind of a little wonky, but it's as good as I could get. I've never had that happen before. I've done literally like hundreds of customs over the course of like the last 15 years. I've torn hundreds of cars apart, put them back together, and not just 1/64th, but like 1/25th scale models as well. And every once in a while you run into something like that that you take apart and it just does not want to go back together the same way. And that's the same with actual real cars or bikes or anything. I guess you just run into that every once in a while. So anyway, we did the car in a nice gloss enamel white, and then the real car had some blue, kind of a fade stripe along the quarter panel of the car. So I tried to replicate that as best as I could using kind of a light metallic blue, and I kind of wanted it to look kind of cloudy and misty because that's how the stripe on the real car looked. And then this car has a little bit different body style than the real car because the real car didn't have fender skirts. I decided to just leave them on here instead of cutting them out, which I could have done. And then this car also has these nice trim pieces, which I think look cool on the door, but the real car didn't really have those on there. I personally think they look better than not having them on there, so I just left them and then just left them white, so that way you kind of have the best of both worlds. Seeing as that this is a tribute car, and then I did a red panel underneath the body line there. Detailed out the emblems on the hood, detailed out the window frame, the wipers. I did the interior in kind of a satin red, so the whole car has a nice red, white, blue theme to it. Detailed out the headlights. I left the bumpers, front and rear, just in the stock metal base Zamac look to it. Detailed out the taillights, and then I did these really nice, lucky enough to find these really nice Hot Wheels 5-spoke wheels with white walls on it, because like I talked about earlier in the video, the real car had some Raider wheels on it with like a thin white wall tire, and I think these kind of have the same look basically to it. We'll flip the car over, take a look at the chassis of this car, and there it is. So I wanted this car to have a real nice kind of show car looking chassis. I have no idea what the real car underneath looked. I'm sure it wasn't nicely detailed out like this. Maybe it was, I don't know, but I wanted everything gloss white, and if it wasn't gloss white, I did it in chrome. So the whole underneath of the car is either gloss white or chrome. Super classy, real show car style. It's detailed out the gas tank, exhaust, the rear end, the brakes, the engine, tranny, and some of the suspension parts is all chrome. And then the whole underneath of the car is just doused in gloss white. So it kind of rolls over to the top side of the car. Looks really nice. Overall, I'm super happy with this car. As far as the way it looks, everything looks the way I wanted it to look. Not real happy about the fitment issues of everything. Not really wanting to fit back together as they should. It's not terrible, but it definitely could have been a little bit better. But it is what it is. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I did mention earlier in the video that this is kind of going to be going along with another build that I'm going to be doing, which you'll see at a little later date It should be coming out after this video, actually. And it's kind of along the same lines, and part of the reason why I actually built this car. So stick around for some more pictures of the T-Bird, and look forward to the part 2 of this build, I guess you could say. But otherwise, get out working on your own projects, get your hands dirty, stay cool, and we'll see you cats on the next one. Thanks for watching.